Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be doing a massive 75 book haul. So these are all the books that I have bought or been given or got for birthday and my Christmas between July and December of 2025. I want to preface this by saying that it is my birthday on the 24th of December and I asked for books for my birthday, same with Christmas. I did also do a trip to 66 books in November and got quite a lot of books there. So to be honest with you, most of these books in this book haul are from birthday or Christmas or from 66 books. There's only a few that I have bought sort of pre-ordered or anything like that, and a few I've been given by some friends, and I am not buying any more books. I'm not buying any more books, and I know every booktuber says that, but I genuinely do not need any more books. I might buy a few on my Kindle, but if there's series I want to continue, I'm just going to try and get them from the library. I can always ask them for Christmas next year if I really wanted to. So yeah, this is quite excessive, but I just want to preface this by saying that this is not the normal amount of books that I would buy in a 6-month period. So before I get into the video, please remember to like this video if you enjoy it and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content. As you will see from this haul, I primarily read fantasy, thriller and romance books, and I post videos every Sunday. So let's get into the book haul. So I have just got stacks of books surrounding me, so I'm just going to sort of try and go in some semblance of an order, but we're just going to have to go with the flow. So I think the first few books are going to be maybe ones that I've gotten off of friends. So the first lot I have is the Fine Print trilogy, the Dreamland Billionaires series by Lauren Asher. So I don't know the order, but I think it's the Fine Print, Terms and Conditions, and then Final Offer by Lauren Asher. One of my bestest friends who loves reading, I think she's read these and she thinks I would really like them, so she kindly gave those to me to read. And then another lovely friend of mine gave me The Wingman by Stephanie Archer. I did actually start reading the Vancouver Storm series just a few weeks back, so this is good timing that I've got the third book now. The previous series is a romance series, I believe, and so is this one. I then have the entire, so far anyway, Boys of Tommen series by Chloe Walsh. So I have Binding 13, Keeping 13, Saving 6, Redeeming 6, Taming 7 and Releasing 10. All I know about that series, it's a adult sort of romance series, I believe, but it covers quite hard topics. Now it does follow like younger students, like they're on the younger side, but it is an adult series just because of the topics that it covers. So I'm really excited to read those. I've seen everyone reading them and I got FOMO. I want to know what's going on. So that's them. Next we will cover the books I bought from 66 Books. So if you don't know what 66 Books is, it's a massive book warehouse in London or just outside of London, and everything is 70% off RRP. Now you can only go on specific weekends in the month, and they do have a Facebook page. If it sounds interesting to you, make sure you look up the dates that they are open to the public, because they don't open to the public apart from on these weekends. And basically paperbacks are like £2, so I bought a load and I barely spent any money at all. So again, there's kind of a little bit of order to this, but not really. So the first one we have is I Know What You've Done by Dorothy Comson. All I know about this is a thriller book. I have bought a couple of Dorothy Comson books. I know she's quite a popular thriller author. I don't know too much about this one, but I quite like that with my thrillers. I won't know the synopsis of many of the thrillers, to be honest with you, so that's that one. I then have Scuttler's Cove by David Barnett. I have absolutely no idea what this one is about. It wasn't even on my radar until my sister-in-law that I went to 66 Books with said that she had read this and really enjoyed it and thought I would enjoy it as well, so for £2 couldn't say no. We then have Survive the Night by Riley Sager. I have actually read this one and I actually really enjoyed it. I think this has got quite low ratings, but for me, I personally really enjoyed it. This one is such a fast-paced read. It's about a girl who gets a lift from a strange man. This is based in like the 90s. She ride shares with someone and she thinks she's actually ride sharing with a murderer. It's all about how she basically survives the night. I then have Age of Ash by Daniel Abraham. I know he is the co-author of the Expanse series, which I really enjoy, and when I heard he'd written a fantasy book, I was really interested, and then I saw this at 66 Books for £2, couldn't say no. I then have Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. This is the first book in her newest series, I believe. I read the Red Queen series way back when it was first released and I loved it. I saw this, I didn't really realise that she had a new series out. out, so I thought I would pick the first one up and see what I think. This is YA fantasy, and I'm a bit hit or miss with YA fantasy lately, but I thought I'd give this one a go. We then have quite the selection of romance books. So we have The Temporary Roomie by Sarah Adams. This is the second book in a series, which I think I have the first one on my Kindle. So again, for £2, I can't really say no. I do really enjoy Sarah Adams as an author. I think I haven't read too many of her books, but I own quite a few of them now, so I really need to get on reading them. We then have Forever Never by Lucy Score. I did read this one recently, and I thought it was like a 3.5 star. I have read the Knock 'em Out series by Lucy Score. This is a sort of like winter romance, I would say, and it has all the usual bits of a Lucy Score book with just crazy like criminal activities going on. So if you like the Knock 'em Out series, you'll definitely enjoy this one. This would be great for this time of year as well, in the winter. I then have The Worst Best Man by Lucy Score. I haven't read this one, but I saw it was a Lucy Score book, and I thought she's always a good author, I think, so pick this one up. Then have Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I do really enjoy Christina Lauren as an author. I know they're an author duo. I have read quite a few of their books now, and again, I saw this one, £2, couldn't say no. I have heard this is a lot of people's favourite of theirs, so I'm really intrigued to see what I think of this one. I then have 2 Annabelle Monaghan books. So I have Same Time Next Summer and Nora Goes Off Script. Again, I have no idea what these are about, but just a side note, like how stunning are these covers? Like, in all seriousness, I love the colour palettes that she uses. Her covers are absolutely stunning, and I actually own, spoiler alert, I own all of her books now, and I haven't read a single one, but she is an author that I really want to dive into, so I think I'll definitely read this one in the summer, and maybe I'll pick this one up soon, who knows. But yeah, really excited to delve into this author and see if I enjoy her. I then have The Game Changer by Lana Ferguson. I have not read from this author, but there is actually another book by this author, Under Lock and Key, that I bought, but this wasn't from 66 Books, but I'll talk about both of them now. So I haven't read a Lana Ferguson book, but I have heard really good things about her, and I saw this one in the works. It was on the 3 for £7.50 deal. This one was in 66 Books, so this was only like £2, so I thought they're pretty cheap. It's always good to have romance books on hand as a good palette cleanser. Also, I just love reading romance in the summer, so I thought I'll try this author, and I just love the cover of this one. I think it's really cute. So yeah, I've heard quite good things about her, so I thought I'd give her a go. We then have a couple of Carly Fortune books. So we have Every Summer After, which I have read and loved, and then we have Meet Me at the Lake, which I haven't read yet. I really enjoyed Every Summer After, and I have also read One Golden Summer, which was a 5-star read for me. That is coming up later in this haul. Just loved that book, so I loved this one. Loved One Golden Summer, and I'm really excited to read Meet Me at the Lake. And is it Same Time Next Summer, I think is her other one, and I think she's got a new one coming out next year. So I really enjoy her as an author. I wanted to get my hands on physical copies, so when I saw 2 of her books at 66 Books for £2, could not say no. Fantastic author, would highly recommend, even though I've only read 2 of her books. We then have Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy. This is quite a funny purchase because I actually bought, on a previous trip to 66 Books, I bought the second book in this series, and I didn't realise it was the second book. I just saw it was Elle Kennedy. I recognised the title, so I was like, oh, that's her new series. I didn't realise it was the second book, so it's kind of funny that I have now found the first one at a different trip to 66 Books. All I know, I love Elle Kennedy. I don't really know what this one is about, apart from, I think it's not a hockey romance, it's like a beachy romance, so I'm intrigued to see what I think of Elle Kennedy when she's not writing a hockey romance, but I'm really excited to get to this one. I then have 2 books by Rosie Danan. So I have The Roommate and The Intimacy Experiment. I believe these are interconnected standalones, or they're part of a series. So these were at 66 Books. I'd heard a little bit about them, so I thought I would grab them and see what I think. I know she has quite a few books out, so I'm interested to see what I think of her as an author. I have heard either people love her or people really don't like her books, so I'm interested to see where I fall in these. Okay, and then the last of the romance that I got from 66 Books. So we have A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. I've wanted to read this series for quite a long time. I could only ever find like the 3rd book in the works, and I didn't want to buy just the 3rd book, so I'm glad I found the first one. I'm really excited to read this one. One of my really good friends really enjoys the series, so I'm excited to get to this one. I then have You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogle. Now this one I've had on my Goodreads TBR for quite a few years, and I could never like find the book, or it was really expensive on Amazon, so I never sort of purchased it. And then I just randomly saw it at 66 Books, and I was just like, fantastic, because I was starting to look at it on my Goodreads Goodreads TBR, and I was thinking, you've been on here for quite a while and I just can't get a hold of you. Even the Kindle edition was really expensive, so I was just kind of like, if I can't find you soon, I'm just gonna have to say like I can't read you. So I'm excited to get to this one. And then we have Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone. I have recently read Ready or Not, and I didn't love it, but I did like her writing. I just don't think that story was really for me. So I'm excited to read this one. I'll probably read this one in the summer, but like, again, just how gorgeous is that cover, you know? So yeah, I did enjoy her writing. I just didn't love that story, so I'm interested to see what I think of this one. And then we have a couple of thriller books that I purchased. So the thriller selection at 66 Books is fantastic. So first of all, we have The Last to Disappear by Jo Spain. I have read this one recently, I believe. My thoughts on this book I'll tell you in my next video, but this one is a winter thriller set in a sort of quiet town in Lapland, and this was really, really good. I also have heard a lot about this author recently, Jo Spain. I do actually have another book by her that I'll tell you about next, but this was really, really good. Definitely good for this time of year. So the other Jo Spain book was Don't Look Back, and this is the complete opposite, as it's a summer thriller, so I'll hopefully read this one this summer. I don't really know too much about it. As I said, I've heard quite a lot about this author. People seem to be really loving her at the moment, so when I saw a few of her books at 66 Books, I thought I'd just grab them. For £2 you can't really go wrong even if you don't like them. So also I think her covers are beautiful. I'm definitely like, judge a book by its cover. Like if it's got a good cover, I'm like, I want to read it. We then have The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. Again, I don't know too much about what this one is about other than it's a summer thriller. I think I've read from this author before. I've read the Rebel Bell trilogy, and I have read the first in the Hex Horde trilogy, but I didn't realise that she writes thrillers now, so I'm interested to see what I think of her as a thriller author when I really did enjoy her as a YA author. So I'm interested to see what I think of this one. I then have Not a Happy Family by Shari LaPenna. Now if you've been around on my channel for a while, you probably think, Sophie, why are you picking up a Shari LaPenna book? I tried to read one of her books back last year and I really didn't like the writing. My sister-in-law encouraged me to pick this up because she has read a few Shari LaPenna and she said they are quite hit or miss, and I think maybe I just didn't pick the right one up. So I'm definitely giving her another go. In fact, in that same vlog with Last to Disappear, I'm reading another Shari LaPenna book, so I'll tell you my thoughts on that one then. But I thought, you know what, again, for £2, just give this a go. If I don't like these thrillers, well, even if I do like them, I will probably just hand them over to my mum because she reads thrillers as well, and so does both of my sister-in-laws as well, so they will just get passed around anyway. So I think £2 for essentially like 4 or 5 people to read them is pretty decent. So I thought I'd give this one a go. It did sound pretty intriguing, this one, so I thought I'd give it a go. And then moving on to a couple of fantasy books that I purchased. So I bought the entire Four Horsemen series by Laura Thalassa. This one was on my radar a few years ago because Becca from Becca and the Books was reading it and she really enjoyed it. She did say as you get towards the end it does get a bit repetitive, but to be honest with you, I will probably just space them out anyway. And I thought for like a couple of quid for the box set, you can't really go wrong. So it's made of pestilence, war, famine and death. It's a fantasy romance series, so I thought I'll give it a go. If I don't enjoy it, there's plenty of other people that I can pass this along to in my life that will definitely enjoy them. And also I just thought the covers were really pretty, so I'll just show you them. So we have pestilence, war, famine and death. And then the final fantasy book I bought at 66 Books was the Silver Blood Promise by James Logan. This is the first in a fantasy series. Again, this has been on my radar for a very long time. I've never purchased it. Also, I think this is like a US paperback, or it's just a big paperback, but I've been interested in this series. I can't quite remember what it's about, but I think it's like just a typical adult fantasy. I thought I'll give it a go. Again, for a couple of quid for the paperback, you can't really go wrong. So that's that. So that's all the books I bought at 66 Books. So I'll go through a couple that I just have bought randomly throughout the year, and then we'll move on to Christmas and birthday. So we'll go through a couple of Fairy Loot pre-orders that came in. So we have the Deathly Grim, which is the second book in the Forest Grim duology. I read this one recently and it was okay. It's a 3-star. If you enjoy YA fantasy but more of the younger end of YA fantasy, I think you'll really enjoy this. I really did like the first one, but this one just fell a bit flat for me. I then have the Ashfire King. This is the sequel to the Stardust Queen, I believe. That came out in like 2022. It's been a long time since I read the first one. I am planning on, as we get more books in this series, to reread and then continue, but I don't want to keep rereading and then having to keep rereading because they're taking so long between the books. I really enjoyed the first one. I can't actually really remember what it was about because it's been that long, but I really enjoyed it, so I pre-ordered the sequel. We then have the Dragon Wakes with Thunder by KX Song. The first one was called The Night Ends with a Fire. It's a adult Mulan retelling. I really enjoyed it when I read it last year. I had to get the sequel, and I will hopefully be continuing this series very soon. And then finally, from the fairy pre-orders, we have Human Rights by Juno Dawson. This is the third book in Her Majesty's Royal Coven series, which is an adult witchy sort of like fantasy series. There's lots of LGBTQ plus rep in here, so highly recommend this series. And then just a random hardback that I got was Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. I got the Waterstones. I do like R.F. Kuang as an author. I did meet her at a sign-in a few years back and no comment, but I do like her as an author, and this one did sound really intriguing, so I did pre-order this one. And then just a couple of random paperbacks. So we have The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center. I think I picked this up in The Works. I had a voucher and it was only like £3, and I really want to read this author. She's got a lot of romance books out, so I'm really intrigued to see what I think of her. I then have The Gingerbread Bakery, which is the latest book in the Dream Harbour series. I recently read The Christmas Tree Farm, so I need to read The Strawberry Patch Pancake House and then this one. We then have Wildcard by Elsie Silver. This is the fourth and final book in the Rose Hill series. Elsie Silver writes a lot of like cowboy romances. This one was like a billionaire romance series. This was really good. I really did enjoy this series, so would highly recommend this. We have the final book in the Shadow of the Gods series, The Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne. Really enjoyed this series and highly recommend him as an author. So that's it for, it's basically what I've purchased myself or what I've been gifted. So next up we have Christmas and birthday books. Now my birthday is the 24th of December. These have all got mixed together. I don't know, I can't remember what was from what, but we have a mix of fantasy and romance books here. So in no particular order, we're just going to kind of go through them. So the first one I have is Do I Know You by Emily Wibley and Austin Siegmund Broker. I have read one of their YA romance books and I didn't really love it, mainly because at that time I think I was growing out of YA romance, but I did enjoy the writing. So when I saw they have a couple of adult romance books, I thought I'd give them a go, and this one was on my wish list and someone did kindly buy it for me. I then have the entire Lycanius trilogy by James Eiling. It's still in its wrapping. So we have The Shadow of What Was Lost, An Echo of Things to Come, and The Light of All That Falls. Now these are proper chunky fantasy books, but I have read The Will of the Many by this author, and that was a 5-star read for me. So when I saw that he had a completed trilogy out already, I really wanted to get my hands on them and read them. I also do have The Strength of the Few coming up, but I really want to read the series in 2026. So I then have The Empire of the Vampire and Empire of the Damned by J. Kristoff. I think I got one of these for Christmas, one of these for my birthday. This is J. Kristoff's latest series. I believe the final book has just come out, but obviously you see I've got the paperback. I'm intrigued to see what I think of this. I really am on the lookout for good vampire books. I feel like every vampire book or series that I've read recently really falls flat for me. So I've heard quite good things about this series, so I'm hoping this one is good. So I'll probably read this later on in 2026, so that when the final book comes out in paperback, I can pick it up and read it straight away. So I'm really trying to read my series in quite close succession to each other. I find that works best for me. I then have the second and third book Maple Hills series. So we have Wildfire and Daydream. I recently read Icebreaker in I think it's the previous video to this actually. It was one of the oldest books on my TBR and I really enjoyed it, so I'm glad I've got the second and the third books now to carry on with that series. I then have 2 more Annabelle Monaghan books. So I have Summer Romance and It's a Love Story. I believe that's all of her books now. She's got a new one coming out next year. But again, these covers are just absolutely stunning, so I really hope I do enjoy this author. Again, I just love collecting, like I love finding a romance author and just reading their entire backlist, because as soon as you gel with their writing style, you don't even need to know what the books are about, you just pick them up, and I just think these are absolutely stunning, so I really hope I enjoy them. But yeah, I have heard really good things about this author. So then we have The Book That Broke the World by Mark Lawrence. I have read this in an upcoming vlog. This is the second book in the Book That Wouldn't Burn series. It's basically about like a magical fantasy library. The first one was really good. This one wasn't as good, but I'm hoping the third book will pick it back up. But I do really enjoy this series. I then have a American edition of The Handmaid's Tale. One of my friends kindly bought this for me for my birthday. They got it in America when they went. I love The Handmaid's Tale. I'm rewatching these shows so I can finish the last season. Well, I don't like love it. I feel like it's weird to say that you love something that's just absolutely awful for the people that are in it, but I really love The Handmaid's Tale, so I'm excited to give this a read. And then I have The Strength of the Few by James Eilington. This is the second book to The Will of the Many. Now I will say I don't love the cover change that they've done. So I've got the River of Sport dust jacket, but to be honest with you, looking at this cover on my book. It's just really bad quality. When I look at the Will of the Many, it's such a good like cover, so I'm like tempted to just turn this back round, even though I don't really like the cover, but I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I loved the Will of the Many. I'm really excited to get to this one. This is a chunky one, so I think I'll wait a little bit to read this one. But yeah, I really loved the Will of the Many. It was a 5-star read for me. All the hype for that book is worth it. Yeah, I just think that this cover looks a bit cheap in comparison to the Will of the Many, so I don't know, maybe I'll flip it back round. We are on the final stack of books. So we have The Luck of the Titanic by Stacey Lee. This is a historical fiction book about the Titanic. I added this to my want to read years ago, and it's been a while, so I can't remember the full synopsis of this one, but I do like reading historical fiction. Especially recently, I've really gotten into Kristen Hanna. I'm really glad that I got this for Christmas so I can finally read it. Another Carly Fortune book, we have One Golden Summer. First of all, this cover is stunning. I love the blues. This is my like favorite romance book of the year. Genuinely, it was so good. Loved this one so much, so I'm glad I got a copy of it. I then have The Women by Kristen Hanna. I don't know anything about this one. I know it's a lot of people's favorite Kristen Hanna book. I'm really excited to get this one. I've really enjoyed what I've read by her so far. I then have The Ninth Reign by Jen Williams. Again, I can't remember what this one is about. It's a fantasy series that's very underhyped until Elliot Brooks read it and hyped it up to everyone, so I'm really interested to see what I think of this one. I've been wanting to read it for such a long time. We then have The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. Again, I really love the Good Girls Guide to Murder series by her. I think I've got most of her other books now, so I really need to get on and read her backlist. We then have Body Check by Elle Kennedy. I believe this is just a standalone ice hockey romance by her, so can't go wrong with an Elle Kennedy book in my opinion. I then have Picture Perfect by Tessa Bailey. This is the next book in the Big Shots series. I think the next one comes out early next year or early this year, so excited to get to this one. We then have The Bone Ships by RJ Barker. Now, I've wanted again to read this one for such a long time, and this cover always reminds me of like the Robin Hobb books, but yeah, really excited to get to this one. All I know about this one is it's got like dragons in it. I don't need to know any more than that, to be honest. We then have The Rhythmatist by Brandon Sanderson. Again, I've been wanting to read this one for so long. I do really enjoy Brandon Sanderson, and I believe that this is the final series by him that I need to read. Don't need to know what this is about. It's just Brandon Sanderson, so I just know I'm going to want to read it. I then have the entire Flamefall series by Rosaria Munda. So again, if you've been round on this channel for the past few months, you will know I love this series. It's a YA dragon fantasy series, a bit like Fourth Wing, but it was written before Fourth Wing, and in my opinion, it's so much better. So we have Fireborn, Flamefall, and Fury Song, and yeah, this is like a 5 out of 5 series. Highly recommend. Please go and read this series. And then the final book for this haul is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V. Schwab. Toxic Lesbian Vampires, V. Schwab, Say No More. I cannot wait to read this one. I'm so excited. So that is all the books that I got for my birthday. For Christmas, I got 66 books, and then just a few randomly bought throughout the year. So really, the ones that I randomly bought throughout the year was only like 5 or 6, so you can see this is quite excessive for me. Now, my plan is not to buy any more books until maybe the summertime. I really don't need anything. I am well and truly stocked up. So that is going to be it for this video. If you've made it this far, leave a comment. Is there any particular book that I've hauled that you think I should prioritize? Please remember to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.